So I wanted to, for all those people who are in Santa Fe right now, it's so touching seeing everybody kind of gathering around Mummy Max. It's so beautiful. I mean, everybody here is checking out the videos, and my friend Senla sent a video from Kopan of all the monks there. They did a Hayagriva puja. Of course, there's a High Lama there right now, and I don't know if I can pull it up. Anyway, maybe I'll get it ready for maybe tomorrow morning. So they did a Hayagriva puja. It's really powerful. And then of course they mentioned her. They talked a little bit about her because I don't know if people know that Mummy Max, when she very first so I'm just laughing at Mary's message. um, she was a teacher in the international school there, and she was like the only one with a car. So she would come with a driver in her car up to Kopan. She was also, on top of being a school teacher, which is anyway an exhausting job, she also ran a antique business down in Kathmandu. And then she also had like a clothes store. So she was also really into fashion, and she would have those garments made, I think, in Nepal, but also in India. And she said to me that when Lama Yeshe died, she was heartbroken. So it was very difficult for her to kind of keep going. She was grieving for quite some time, I think. Anyway, she made her way back to Santa Fe somehow. And now she's in the process of transitioning. And what's extraordinary is all the Geshis, like Geshe just happens to be at the time that Geshe Zopa, who would have known Mummy Max when he was a child. Perhaps actually he maybe not even have been born when she first got there. But anyway, so all of these monks remember this Mummy Max because she was really fundamental in getting that piece of property that is now Kopan purchased and up and running. So she was really big for the FPMT right there at the beginning. The other thing that's very, very interesting about what's happening now is the timing, because we're in Losar. And of course, Mummy of Lama Yeshe died around this time. He passed into parinirvana around this time. So her timing of transitioning is along the lines of when Lama Yeshe passed away as well. So I find that curious. So we had a very interesting discussion. I'm talking fast because I'm aware of time, but I wanted to let you know Yangtze Rinpoche was teaching at Seichen Ling yesterday, and he talked quite a bit about the purification practice. And he talked about it in terms of healing. He also talked about it and cleansing. He also talked about it in terms of, we can get to the section on resolve. So Yangtze Rinpoche never talks very specifically about anything. He's quite spacious in the way he teaches. But he was talking about, he talks about our ego being a scammer and like a con artist or a scammer. And he's almost like, he said, if you can watch for that scammer, that kind of, that like con artist, that cheater, which is our ego, and then you're doing an excellent job. That's part of the purification process. So rather than thinking of something that we should be sort of not doing or refraining from, we notice how many times a day we notice our ego, or how many times a day we notice our negative mind, or how many times a day we notice our jealous mind, or we notice that our minds run off with some kind of story, and then we bring it back. And so Yangtze Rinpoche saying it was kind of quite a helpful thing to do to sort of keep track of what's going on in the mind. Anyway, that's where we are today. And anyway, there's some more nuggets there, but I won't go into them now because we're short of time. But this practice, for those of you who've just joined, was actually cobbled together by Venerable Rabina based on teachings by Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Oh, thank you very much, Shayla. So grab that for people who are interested in Mummy Max's history. Also, the Big Love, that big book that they were working on for years and years and years. There's lots of stories about Mummy Max in there as well. You'll find out all about her, but she's quite an important person for our organization, and we know a lot of people don't really know about her, but she is quite something. Okay, so let's just settle into a nice, comfortable meditation. Seated position. And so, and a special welcome to you East Coast people, as I know it's way past your bedtime. So thank you very much for coming, particularly if you've already spent 3 hours online somewhere, 2 hours online. Okay. So let's just settle and try and calm our mind and our body. Feet. Notice your feet. They're what hold you up all day long. Knees about a hip's width apart. Shoulders align with the hips. And now just lengthen that spine, you know. Imagine you've got a string of pearls of light from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And then just relax the body. Start with the crown of the head and release any tension there, and allow some softness to come into your face. Relax the back of the head, the neck and the shoulders and your chest and your belly and all of your limbs. And just notice the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Notice any sounds in your environment, allow them to be there. Try not to follow with the mind. And maybe just notice what might be arising in your mind this evening. And it's all okay. However it is you're turning up this evening, it's perfectly fine. And for, you know, even if just turning up is the main event, that's enough. Anything from just turning up is a bonus. Try and put some space in between those thoughts. And just, you know, just notice what's going on in the mind. And try and separate out fact from fiction without any kind of judgment. And be kind to your heart while you're doing this process. You're being your own therapist, your own good mother. Now bring to mind all the people of your life, your very dear and precious loved ones, strangers, and those you don't like so much. Really bring each one of those people to mind and be aware that they could change place, excuse me, at any time. They're also equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And we keep Mummy Max in our mind. Imagine she's here with us doing this practice this evening, because she's probably not in the place where she's able to do it herself. So this is where, you know, as Geshe Zopa, I used to call him Tenzopa, is Tenzin Zopa. Geshe Tenzin Zopa was reciting prayers for her today. And then you'll notice our Stephanie isn't here tonight. She has got COVID, so she's not feeling super. So just for all these people, we'll just do this practice this evening. So think, the first of the four opponent powers, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. We sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience. So we know from our present suffering that we don't want any more of that. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So this is really what this practice is. It's kind of a healing practice. And what we're going to do in the next section is, engage in taking the medicine and doing the actual job of healing. So you can imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. So really try and get a sense of this holy being, full of light, radiating light. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And your teacher is made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. Is a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So just a little bit on compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So this is why this is in reliance. The very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and we have compassion for them because the harm they've caused you is going to, result in suffering for them sometime down the track. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of your speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Didu Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Didu Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now imagine your speech is completely purified and it's not possible to harm anybody with that speech of yours, only to benefit. And that includes yourself, because every word you utter, you will hear. Every word you write, you will see. So just be aware of what it is you're putting out on social media. Just pray that it'll be of benefit to others, even if it's just to make them laugh. And the next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, you know, when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So you just imagine, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And you can imagine that Vajrasattva very happily again sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasiti mimpi yatsasawa kamasita me sitam shayam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsasawa kamasita me sitam shayam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsasawa kamasita me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsasawa kamasita me sitam shriam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsasawa kamasita me sitam shriam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsasawa kamasita me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So really try and feel that that's actually happened. And next is the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and a really important one. You know, as Venerable Rabina always says, you need to make a decision before something is going to happen. You've got to decide that you want to get up and walk out of the room. So we want to decide that we want to refrain from harming. And as Yangtze Rinpoche was saying yesterday, really the first step in that is to be aware of that. Keep your eye out for the scammer that's stealing your life. This is our ego grasping. And just watch it raise its head. Keep an eye out for it. And you're driving the traffic and some anger arises, like, oh, there you are again. So you can, if you want, just make a determination. Okay, I'm going to do this all day long. Tomorrow, I'm going to watch for that ego grasping self to arise, the little kind of delusions to kind of rise up. I'm going to watch out for them. And you might notice, say, for example, you have some fear or anger or distress about something. So go into it, be brave, be courageous, go in there and look at it and go sort of look at it, examine it, and you might find that it disappears. So experiment with that as well. See if that works for you. And let me know. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us. He wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think your teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and your own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. It's always something to reflect on. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created tonight doing this practice to all living beings, particularly to our precious Mummy Max, and also make sure Stephanie gets well soon. And think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then make a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, a strong wish for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, and then for your own precious teachers to live long. Okay, because time is running for all of us. So thank you so much, everyone.